50% off limited time sale. It's their half price clearance sale. And if you order Genucel to get rid of bags and puffiness under your eyes, you'll also get Chamonix's brand new Platinum Tan Enhancing Body Lotion. That's a free gift. Perfect hydration, tan, and protection to rejuvenate, hydrate, maintain that bright summer glow with a lotion unlike anything you can buy in any store. So sit back, relax, enjoy the beach with the best looking skin possible and no bags or puffiness under your eyes. They're gone. Everybody I know that's tried Genucel from Chamonix loves it, swears by it. Linda, Lauren, and so many others. Call now 800-SKIN-509, 800-SKIN-509, guaranteed to work in 12 hours. Your money back guaranteed, no risk to you. You'll also get the Platinum Tan Enhancing Body Lotion free while supplies last. And if you call now, shipping is free. It's 800-SKIN-509. It's the half-price summer clearance sale at Genucel.com. 1-800-SKIN-509 from our friends at Chamonix and Genucel.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss. Ken Fisher, founder and executive chairman of Fisher Investments.
We don't sell annuities. We'll never sell annuities. Most annuities have nosebleed level fees, don't do what the customer thinks they do, have tremendous tax problems, are hard to get out of once you're in them, and are extremely confusing.
Don't let the sound of guaranteed income lead you to financial headache. Call now for your free report, Annuity Insights, and find out why legendary money manager Ken Fisher hates annuities. Call 1-800-770-3377 and see what you might be getting into.
Anything you want to do with annuities, there's a better way to do. If you have more than $500,000 to invest, talk to us.
Get your free report, Annuity Insights, and find out the 9 questions every annuity investor should ask. Call now, 1-800-770-3377. That's 1-800-770-3377.
There's a common assumption about identity theft. A lot of people believe it's just credit card fraud, but credit card fraud isn't the only form of identity theft. And if you're just protecting your identity by monitoring your credit and checking your bank statements, well, you could miss some forms of identity theft. Like, for example, your information being for sale on the dark web. That means somebody getting an online payday loan in your name, or even someone draining your 401k. Now, thank God there's LifeLock. Now, they use proprietary technology to detect and alert you to a wide range of identity threats. You have a problem, one of their U.S.-based restoration specialists will work to fix it. Now, we can't prevent all identity theft, monitor every transaction, but with LifeLock.com, you can see more than you'd see by just monitoring your credit. Join now. You get a 10% discount just by visiting LifeLock.com/Hannity, or just call 1-800-LifeLock. Use the promo code Hannity. LifeLock.com/Hannity and save 10%.
We're back in session. It's the Rob Taylor Report. And here he is, Rob Taylor.
Hey, Coos County. I want to thank Professor Joel Marks for coming on the show. And that's M-A-R-K-S, not M-A-R-X, like Karl Marx. That's Joel Marks, who's a professor from OSU, who we'll be getting him back on to talk about more historical important things that happened in this country, American history that is not being taught. We're going to have him back on the show to discuss some of that. But right now, many of you are still what happened last Wednesday at the the national capital, the capital of the country in Washington, D.C. is still fresh on the minds of everyone. And of course, we're going through an impeachment right now. But one of the things that was overshadowed is that the chair of the Proud Boys, Enrique Tarrio, he was arrested before he even got to the rally and participate in anything that was going on. And if you don't know who the Proud Boys are, the reason I have Enrique on is because they take a lot of crap that's just not right. In fact, they've been labeled a far-right, white supremacist, racist group, and I think it's the Southern Poverty Law Center who has them labeled as a racist group, as a hate group. I'm not sure what a hate group is. I mean, it's an emotion, and I'm sure every group has someone that they just don't like. And the basic tenet of the group is that we are Western chauvinists who refuse to apologize for creating the modern world. Like Archie Bunker, we long for the days when girls were girls and men were men. This wasn't controversial even 20 years ago, but being proud of Western culture today is like being a crippled black lesbian communist in 1953, and I would agree with him. Many times I get called a chauvinist, and I have no problem. I am a chauvinist. Usually the term, when they call me a chauvinist, is followed by the word pig, which is okay. I can live with that. And the core values of the Proud Boys is that they believe in minimal government, maximum freedom, anti-political correctness, anti-drug war, closed borders, anti-racial guilt, anti-racism, pro-free speech, pro-gun rights, glorifying the entrepreneur, venerating the housewife, and reinstating the spirit of the Western chauvinism. And joining me right now is the chair of the Proud Boys, Enrique Tarrio. Enrique, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. Thank you for having me on. And everything that you just said is 100% correct.
Thank you, sir. And I thank you for doing what you're doing, because I don't think people understand why you're out there putting yourself on the line. And I think that as someone who grew up in Little Havana, you're probably someone who understands the horrors of communism and socialism, considering your background.
Yeah, so the reason why I'm in this country is when Che Guevara and Castro's forces were taking over the island, they were trying to take one of my family's farms, and when my family decided to tell them no, they put them on their knees and we executed them. And shortly after that, my grandfather came to this country. He adopted the teachings and the values that make this country great. And, he passed that on to my dad, which passed that on to me, and I'm here now. But I don't feel like right now America is America. We've seen what we've been warning the country about, what the conservative movement's been warning the country about for the past, we could say the past 4 years, but we've been blaring the horns on this for a very, very long time. It's been happening in the past 4 days. We got the President of the United States censored on Twitter, all his followers, calls to stop flights for Trump supporters. If they call Trump fascist, or they call him a dictator, but one, dictators aren't silenced, and two, if we've ever been close to fascism, this is it. Right now, at this moment, while we're talking, this is it.
And a lot of people they're deeply disturbed because they didn't realize how far big tech could go to silence the other side once the other side was not in power and not able to keep the big tech in check with all their awesome ability to silence many of us. I mean, I haven't been kicked off Facebook yet, but last week or 2 weeks ago, I think I had on Patriot Prayer gentleman Joey Gibson, and all I did on my mail service, MailChimp, is I added his website, and because I put his website on my newsletter, I was kicked off of MailChimp permanently.
Yeah, and that's, I always like using the term, welcome, pal, because we've been the Proud Boys and myself have been dealing with this for the past 3 years. We've been deplatformed, and we said, well, we're just their guinea pigs.
Right.
What's next is your typical Trump supporters. We're seeing Instagram go ahead and say that anything that says stop the steal, they're going to be banning. They've banned multiple accounts. I just don't know how far this is going to go. I was charged with a misdemeanor, and you know what? I said it. I said, hey, yes, I burned a BLM banner on the street, and I admitted to it. Right. I sent them pictures. I put it on my parlor, and so they decided to do a political hit job, and they decided to charge me with a misdemeanor of destruction of property. And when I left the airport, I was picked up like I was Noriega. About 15 to 20 cop cars stopped the entire highway inside a tunnel and pointed their ARs in the car for a misdemeanor.
Wait. You were stopped in a tunnel, in traffic. You were stopped in a tunnel. Holy jeez.
In the middle of traffic hour, too, because that was about like 4:30, 5 o'clock. There was a lot of cars there. and I was, like I said, I was pulled over like I'm like some Nigerian drug lord coming into the United States.
Yeah.
They put me in what essentially is a kennel, an stainless steel kennel, because they had to keep me away from everybody else. And it's been insane.
How long did they hold you for?
They held me for 24 hours. I saw the judge the next day, and then they did something that is extremely unconstitutional, and we've filed motions for it already. They have banned me from a United States city, specifically the United States capital, Washington, D.C. I am not allowed to step foot in it, or I would be arrested.
Enrique, that same thing happened to some of our patriots who were in the Capitol back in December. They tried to get into the Capitol because there's an actual ordinance here saying that they cannot have public meetings in the State House unless there's people allowed in the State House as well. And that's one of the things that that happened to some of our people who went up there from Coos Bay. They were called on the phone. One gentleman was called on the phone by the state troopers, and they were told by this, or was it the Salem State Salem Police? I can't remember which agency it was, but they told him he's no longer allowed back in Salem. And I told him that's BS. They can't kick you out of a city. So please continue your story, because I thought that was very relative to what you were saying.
And as a matter of fact, the Supreme Court had already ruled on this. They can ban you from a building. They can keep you away from a person, but they cannot ban you from a United States city. And specifically Washington, D.C., when you're traveling from Virginia to Maryland, you have to drive through D.C. So it actually disrupts my travel, right, my freedom of movement.
Right.
So we put in a motion. We put in 3 motions today that are looking very promising. One is for that ban from D.C. The second one was for my property, because they never gave me a warrant, and they took my phone, my laptop, and check this. They told me, hey, we found these 2 hard drives in your bag. And I'm like, I don't have any hard drives. And I figured out what it was that they were talking about. They were power banks for my phone. They were phone chargers. And I'm like, okay, guys, have at it. Have fun with that. Pull all the data out of it if you want.
There's probably a guy, there's probably a bureaucrat, Enrique, who's trying to actually, pull data from your power packs there. So,
yeah, I'm guarantee you that they've plugged it in somewhere, and hopefully their laptops that they use are supercharged right now. They're pretty expensive, and they're pretty big battery packs. So, and then our third motion is the most important motion. I also got, in my bag, I had 2 empty Magpul magazines that hold 30 rounds, and apparently that is a felony in Washington, D.C. Now, the 9th District in California, which we know is the most liberal district circuit that we have here in the United States, they already ruled that they cannot ban people from having what they consider high-capacity magazine, which is like the factory magazine that your rifle comes with. So we put a motion in for all 3 of those. It's looking promising. This is a political hit job, and they want to turn it into something that it's not. And I'm going to fight this all the way through.
I certainly hope so, because I think you have good standing, especially on several of those. I think you have great standing. And like you said, the way they did this, it was a total hit job. And by the way, last week you were scheduled on this show, and you got arrested just a few minutes after, or just before you were supposed to go on. So you have a great excuse for missing the show. But I mean, during, when I was telling people, I don't know what happened to Enrique, we're trying to call him. You have a great answering machine. You have a copy of Roger Stone telling people that they've missed your call. So I thought that was pretty neat, man. How did you get him to do that? How did he do that?
Me and Stone have been friends for years. I've helped him out with a lot of stuff. He's helped me out with a lot of stuff. He's mentored me through a lot of things. And we started this voicemail thing where we're trying to, like, before he got his cameo, we're doing like voicemails, and I also have it randomizes it. You got Roger Stone, but I got Alex Jones, I have Gavin McInnes, and I got Milo Yiannopoulos on my voice. So.
Milo,
yeah,
you even got Milo. I mean, for a homophobe, I don't know how you're doing all this.
Yeah, no, I know. It is crazy. I get called all sorts of names. They're not true. It's very simple. I'm an America First guy. I don't hate anybody for the color of their skin or their religion. I do have hate. Maybe the hate group moniker is true.
Right.
But only if hating communism makes me an individual that hates, then that's fine. I'll accept the hate group moniker if it's about hating an ideology that has killed my family.
And that's the thing that always blows my mind about what they talk about hate crimes. Hate is an emotion that we all have. All of us have the capacity for hate. I mean, you talk to any 8-year-old and they hate broccoli, you know what I'm saying? And so this is an emotion, and they're trying to put legislation based on this emotion, which I think is where we went off the rails a long time ago. And it's like when a person assaults another person and somehow uses a racial slur, it's not just an assault now, it's a hate crime. And to me, it's like, well, what you're saying is that the other assaults that were committed in the same way are lesser than someone who commits assault but then uses a racial term. I think that it's just absolutely ludicrous that they would try to attach an emotion to booster a charge on somebody. Where are you on that?
I think the system is deeply flawed.
Yeah.
I think the system, there might be, and I don't want to tell you guys that I agree with BLM or not, but maybe they're onto something.
Right.
Maybe the justice system is one-sided.
Right.
And it's not about anybody. It's not about us. It's about the establishment against us.
Right.
And if what happened to me, if what happened to Roger Stone, and many others that are going through it right now, like, they're hunting these people that were at the Capitol like dogs.
Yes.
And I'm gonna say this. I don't think that I would have done things the way. I don't think I would have stormed the Capitol. But people are asking the wrong questions. Like, what happened that made these people this angry, made us this angry? And the answer to that question I always get is like, oh, because the president is lying about this stolen election. And it's like they're so short-sighted. They don't remember what's happened in the past 4 years.
Right.
Okay, and it all started with a 3-word quote by Hillary Clinton, basket of deplorables.
That's
We've
right.
been demonized for the past 4 years. They've shut down our businesses. They've shut down our movement. They've shut down our credit card processors. They've shut down our banking systems. We've been deplatformed off of every social media, major social media outlet that there is. This is a pressure cooker, and I'm going to tell you something. If the Democrats don't reach out to conservatives, they're going to have they might have the presidency, they might have the Senate, and they might have the House. The one thing they don't have is they don't have the people.
And
okay? I urge people to peacefully protest, but we need to stop laying down and letting them take it. So
before you go on, Enrique, because I want to continue on with that thought, and I want to elaborate that, the extension with that to what's been happening here in Oregon. But before I do that, I got to take a break, and with that, I'll be right back.
Stop in today to the all-new one-stop gun shop, Hole in the Wall Gun Shop in Coos Bay. Your area leader in quality firearms. Hole in the Wall Gun Shop proudly features the top brands of new and used handguns, hunting rifles, black rifles, antique and collectible guns, ammo, mace, and more. Gun cleaning and repair, expert advice, and handgun safety classes for concealed carry permits are offered too. So stop into Hole in the Wall Gun Shop across from Cumion's on Highway 101 South in Coos Bay. We buy, sell, or trade.
Hometown store that offers more. See us at
We're back in session. It's the Rob Taylor Report. And here he is, Rob Taylor.
So, boy, I hope you didn't hear all those conversations we were having, but we're back a little bit early. We're talking to Enrique Tarrio from the Proud Boys, and one of the things Enrique was talking about is how now, after this, some of the people rioted in the Washington, D.C., and we had to take some of the responsibility because some of those were our guys, and they went in there and they did things they probably shouldn't have done. And I'm not going to condemn them for it because they're going to eventually pay the price for committing those crimes. And Enrique, where do you think this is heading now that this incident has happened and they're coming after us? Because even our own Jo Ray Perkins, I believe, just got arrested for her being there, being part of it.
Yeah, so we're treading on dangerous territory. And again, like I said in the previous segment, I said, I wouldn't have done this. But at the same time, I'm done. I am done condemning it.
Right.
I'm done condemning anything on our side. There's things there that shouldn't have been done. But, I feel these people's pain. I feel their anger. And I can't for the life of me not say I don't understand it, okay? There's other ways to protest,
right?
And maybe we should have taken those, but the truth is we need to look beyond. We need to look at what caused this.
Yeah.
And what caused this is the constant barrage of dehumanizing people for their ideas. And it just can't happen, and I wish Biden preached the message of unity back in November, and I don't think. And then he goes and he turns around and he calls Trump supporters Nazis. Just 3 days ago, he said that these were white nationalists, white supremacists, fascists.
Right.
And that's not a call for unity. And he's going to have a very, very rough 4 years if he doesn't start listening to the people. The Proud Boys are basically our step forward is we're going to be a lot leaner, a lot smarter. We're going to think of creative ways to protest, and I think you're going to see a lot more effective group of men that just love this country.
And that's a good thing, because I'll tell you what happened with me, and I was there. We just did a protest where we were at the Capitol here in Oregon in Salem, and we marched up to the governor's mansion, which was a 2-mile march up there and 2 miles back. And your guys were great the whole time, the Proud Boys. And let me tell you, you have a lot of fans out here for your group. You have a lot of people who think that they're doing a good thing. And they are. I mean, every experience I've ever had, these guys have been top of the line as far as their behavior. But the thing is that right now, when we were coming back on that march from the governor's mansion, there was a street that there was a business on, and there were Antifa protecting the business. And of course, they were saying they were protecting it from us white supremacists who never had any intentions of bothering that business. I didn't even know about the business until I went onto that block. And so the police showed up, and I'm sure you've probably seen the videos where they divided the Antifa from the Patriot crowd. Well, the Proud Boys did the right thing, and most of them kept marching on. But some of the guys, they fell into the trap of yelling back at the Antifa. And then when the cops got between them, they started arguing and fighting with the cops. And then eventually the cops declared a riot, said it was an unlawful assembly, and then they did a bull run where they attacked several of us and they shot off a few of those pepper balls and stuff. And even those of us who were just standing watching this going on, we were forced out of the downtown area. They forced us back 4 city blocks before I was all the way to my car, and I told them, well, this is as far as I can go because this is my car and I can only disperse so far. And they were still telling us to leave. So what would you be, what do you tell your guys when it comes to confronting police and being in those type of situations and trying not to fall for the traps that Antifa is going to try to set for us?
I think that, like I said, we need to be smarter. We need to be leaner. We need to come up with more creative ways. And usually when there is a police lineup, I usually bring my guys. I give them space. I don't want to be face-to-face with police. I usually give them like a 15-foot buffer from across there. Tensions are high. I get it. And I'm not going to say that we're not prone to mistakes like everybody else. There's so many. I have about 40,000 members worldwide right now.
Right.
And that number just continues to grow. And but we have learned a lot from day one since we were created, and we knew what we wanted to do, and we become more effective. We know that right now, we knew that going into Portland, I've gone into Portland about 7 times. Going into Portland, all we have to do is show up, and they go crazy.
Yeah.
So I think that taking a page from some of those books, and even taking a page from some of these left-wing protesters, using a page out of their book and doing what's effective and what actually gives change, if we've, and not in this sense, because rioting does nothing.
Right.
Okay, rioting does absolutely nothing, and but it has worked for them. The Democrats and Antifa and BLM basically are saying rioting works. Burning down cities, assaulting people, killing people on the streets gets things done.
Right.
Okay? That's not something that we should ever amount to do. We could be more effective in other ways, but
Right.
we're dealing with people that have no morals. In their battlefield, there's no rules. Anything goes. Take a person's home. Take the way that you start taking people's ability to feed their family away, and you're going to radicalize somebody.
You're going to seriously radicalize them. And I don't want that either, and I don't want to be like Antifa. But the thing is I'll tell you honestly how I felt when I saw those legislators up in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday cowering in front of their chairs and terrified. I almost kind of got a glee out of it because I thought they're finally feeling what families in Portland and Seattle have been feeling who've been living in the areas that have been under siege by Antifa and BLM. And it was almost, I felt, this is the wrong feeling, but I kind of got a pleasure out of them having to cower and be afraid themselves because they don't understand how so many of us have lived under the tyranny of Antifa and the officials who allowed them to do what they're doing.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Like, to me, it was bittersweet.
Yeah.
To finally see people say, well, wait, maybe we shouldn't push. And maybe I'm looking at the bright side. There's a lot of bad things that happen, but I'm looking at the bright side of what happened. Right now, politicians are fearing the people, right?
Yeah.
Feeling, and Thomas Jefferson said when the people fear the government, there's tyranny. But when the government fears the people, there's liberty. And it doesn't need to be fear of like violent consequences. It's just the fear of being able to put that many boots on the ground for a protest. But I think that we can't let this. What they want to do with this is they want to demoralize us. They want to keep you guys, your listeners. They want to keep them home, and I think that we cannot give in to that. We have to fight back. Everything's riding on it. The future of the country is riding on it, and I implore everybody that's listening to this show right now. We are their guinea pigs, and for the past 4 years, they've been testing on us, and it wasn't us that they wanted. It's all of you. So we need you guys to get up off your chairs, and every time you see something that's unjust, fight for it.
Hey, I've got a co-host here. His name is Matt Wilbanks, and he's also been involved in the Patriot movement for quite a while. I'm sure he may have a question or two for you. Matt, you have anything you want to add to it?
Well, not so much a question. First off, I just wanted to thank Enrique for everything he's done. I mainly wanted to make a comment. I appreciate what Enrique was saying about being leaner and being smarter.
Yeah.
A lot of people look at the Proud Boys and they view them as thugs. You know, I even called them shock troops at one point. You know, there's a time to have those type of people, and you know, people have different jobs. People are good at different things, and you got to have bruisers sometimes. But I'm definitely on his side. You know, violence has a place, but you have to be smart about it.
Very smart about it.
You can't be laying in these bear traps, falling for these bear traps that Antifa are setting for us. And I'm completely on board with him when it comes to the Capitol. It's not that I disagree with it.
Right.
It's that it was tactically unsound.
Yeah, and it didn't do anything for us, except now they're just laying down a hammer. But I think they were going to do that anyway. Just it's now happening at a much accelerated rate, and they got an excuse for it.
Yeah, so we definitely need to be smarter about it, and I just wanted to say, you know, thank you for that, and I'd love to see your guys out on the street.
Thank you. I appreciate that. My guys appreciate it. But again, we've learned a lot over doing things, and yeah, sometimes we've already shown what we can do physically many times. We've shown that we could defend things, but I think it's time for the Proud Boys to show how much we can go on the actual offense. And how much we can fight for something that we want changed. And there's so many creative ways that we can do that. And we've been, for the past, after December 12th, we've kind of gone in and kind of said, okay, let's see what's worked for us, what hasn't worked for us, and moving forward. Again, I said this a long time ago, and I probably said it on the last time I was on your show, that a Biden presidency would see us in chains.
Yeah.
And, you know, the only thing I was wrong about was pretty much the date. You know,
yeah.
They started doing it before January 20th, and we need to make sure that, you know, we're not going to be as effective if we're put in a cage, and they know that, and they want to put us in a cage.
And it's not just going to be it's not just a physical cage, like you said. When they deplatform you, so you can't talk to your friends and your family, when they take away your ability to raise funds, and eventually I think this is actually going to go to the point where you're not even going to be able to go on the internet because they're going to be able to find ways to cut you out of that. They're alienating people to the point where they're going to radicalize them, and then they're going to get the enemy that they talk of or they think of is now in the street. It seems like they're creating that enemy for the future.
Yeah, they are. They use this narrative of the Capitol to push every single thing that they've wanted in the past. It was a gift for them.
Yeah.
And we've seen this tactic before. You know, the president was completely and 100% right when he said that there was bad on both sides in Charlottesville, but the media continued to focus on just one side.
Right.
Okay, I was there in the media capacity, and I saw people try to stab other people with Antifa trying to stab patriots with broken flag poles. I've seen it.
Right.
And they did the same thing. The media is doing the same. And media and the government are doing the same thing. They're capitalizing on this, and we won't let it stand. One thing, if they overreach, we're going to push back. So.
And I can almost guarantee you, Enrique, they're going to overreach. And so when people keep saying, you know, they're worried about this what happened on the 6th, overshadowing everything that happens, I keep telling them, I don't know where you've been for the last year. Just give it 5 minutes. Something else is going to happen, and we're not even going to remember what happened on last Wednesday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I think last Wednesday is going to be something that they're going to continuously use for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
But you know, news cycles end so quickly that anything else that happens from now on, it's like these are the demons, these are demons, these are demons, and they'll move on to the next demon. And I'm just not going to let it happen.
Yeah.
I'm down to be. If they want to put me in a cage, then by all means, put me in a cage. But I know that by doing that, they're going to make thousands more
Right.
patriots.
It's going to
just
make
by
a
being-
martyr. It'll make you into a martyr if they did that, because there's a lot of people who don't think that you belong in jail. They know that these are trumped up charges. Hey, Enrique, I'm going to go to another commercial, and when we get on the other side, I'm going to have a few more other questions and change the subject here. And with that, I'll be right back.
For 20 years, the Oregon Firearms Federation has been Oregon's only no-compromise voice for gun rights. While other organizations who claim to speak for gun owners made deals to bargain away your liberty and property, often stood face-to-face with the gun grabbers in Salem to protect your rights. But there's never been a more dangerous time to be a gun owner in Oregon, and we need your help. To become part of the fight for Second Amendment rights and to sign up for free legislative alerts, please visit our website at OregonFirearms.org. That's OregonFirearms.org.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Genucel right now is having their 50% off limited time sale. It's their half price clearance sale. And if you order Genucel to get rid of bags and puffiness under your eyes, you'll also get Chamonix's brand new Platinum Tan Enhancing Body Lotion. That's a free gift. Perfect hydration, tan, and protection to rejuvenate, hydrate, maintain that bright summer glow with a lotion unlike anything you can buy in any store. So sit back, relax, enjoy the beach with the best looking skin possible and no bags or puffiness under your eyes. They're gone. Everybody I know that's tried Genucel from Chamonix loves it, swears by it. Linda, Lauren, and so many others. Call now 800-SKIN-509, 800-SKIN-509, guaranteed to work in 12 hours. Your money back guaranteed, no risk to you. You'll also get the Platinum Tan Enhancing Body Lotion free while supplies last. And if you call now, shipping is free. It's 800-SKIN-509. It's the half-price summer clearance sale at Genucel.com. 1-800-SKIN-509 from our friends at Chamonix and Genucel.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Ken Fisher, founder and executive chairman of Fisher Investments.
We don't sell annuities. We'll never sell annuities. Most annuities have nosebleed level fees, don't do what the customer thinks they do, have tremendous tax problems, are hard to get out of once you're in them, and are extremely confusing.
Don't let the sound of guaranteed income lead you to financial headache. Call now for your free report, Annuity Insights, and find out why legendary money manager Ken Fisher hates annuities. Call 1-800-770-3377 and see what you might be getting into.
Anything you want to do with annuities, there's a better way to do. If you have more than $500,000 to invest, talk to us.
Get your free report, Annuity Insights, and find out the 9 questions every annuity investor should ask. Call now, 1-800-770-3377. That's 1-800-770-3377.
There's a common assumption about identity theft. A lot of people believe it's just credit card fraud, but credit card fraud isn't the only form of identity theft. And if you're just protecting your identity by monitoring your credit and checking your bank statements, well, you could miss some forms of identity theft. Like, for example, your information being for sale on the dark web. That means somebody getting an online payday loan in your name, or even someone draining your 401k. Now, thank God there's LifeLock. Now, they use proprietary technology to detect and alert you to a wide range of identity threats. You have a problem, one of their U.S.-based restoration specialists will work to fix it. Now, we can't prevent all identity theft, monitor every transaction, but with LifeLock.com, you can see more than you'd see by just monitoring your credit. Join now. You get a 10% discount just by visiting LifeLock.com/Hannity, or just call 1-800-LifeLock. Use the promo code Hannity. LifeLock.com/Hannity and save 10%.
We're back in session. It's the Rob Taylor Report. And here he is, Rob Taylor.
Hey, Coos County. Sorry, I was choking on a bone there. I'm talking to Enrique Tarrio, who's the chair of the Proud Boys. And one of the things that's happening right now is that a lot of people are suffering due to the big tech attacking them. And it just was announced that the Google and Amazon and the other web service providers are now planning on taking down gun store websites. So now they're going to go after the gun stores. And it reminds me of the expression, they came for my neighbor and I did nothing. They came for, others and I did nothing. And eventually they came for me and there was no one there to do anything. And that's what's going to happen if we don't stand together and we don't organize and make sure that we're there to protect each other from these draconian laws. And that kind of brings me to Enrique. My question for you is, what are you doing? Is the Proud Boys actively recruiting? What do you do for membership? Enrique, are you there? Oh, well, Enrique went off. We'll see if we can get him back on. But one of the things, like I just said, is that they're eventually going to go for everyone. They're eventually going to go for all the people who own guns, all the people who they claim are terrorists. It's just a way of putting us all into the point where we're the enemy. We are the domestic terrorist, which is kind of ironic because I've sat here for all year watching real domestic terrorists terrorize neighborhoods, not just destroy public buildings. Because, public buildings, if you're going to do that and you're doing it for justification because you're trying to change government, if it's a fairly good reason, I'll listen to your argument. I'm not going to condone it, but when you start tearing down private properties, when you start tearing up people who live in their houses and terrorizing neighborhoods, that's gone beyond protesting. That's domestic terrorism. That's what I would call that. And so people who are calling what happened in Wednesday an insurrection, it doesn't even come up to that. To me, it was a protest that turned into a riot and got out of control, and that's just sometimes what happens when you malign and marginalize people over a period of time. So Enrique, before I lost you on the line, one of the things I was going to ask you is, what is your group doing, Proud Boys, to recruit new members and people to join your group? How does someone go about that?
Well, as of right now, we can. The ProudBoysUSA.com website is what we use for recruiting, but it is taking a long time to vet as many members as we got coming in, and we're actually right now on a vetting freeze to catch up to the amount of applications that we have. So we're being really careful, really selective on who we get. We're doing background checks. The process, even if you get in the process to even become part of a chapter, can take over 3 months. So again, we want to scale at the right path and make sure that we're bringing in the right people.
And let me ask you, women can't be involved, because I had one woman who was upset because she didn't have a penis, and therefore she said she could never be a Proud Boy, right?
Well, we have a Proud Boys Girls chapter, and that's also on the website. I think they're also right now on a vetting freeze. But we keep the two separate. They run their stuff, we run our stuff.
Right.
We go to rallies together and things like that. But other than that, we do have a women's club.
Cool. One of the things that's going on, like you said, is the vetting process. The local group here, I call them the Coos County Patriots. In fact, a good portion of those Patriots, the last time you were here and you came to Portland, we were the ones who were on the east side of that field guarding it from Antifa. And we didn't even get to see you speak, but for, I think it was like 6 hours, we stood out in the rain and out there in that field guarding it. And I'll tell you what, we were never more proud to be out there and be representing our county there, because it's something that was an honor for us. And hopefully next time we'll get to hear you speak, because it's one of those situations. It's hard to get all that stuff together and the way we have to do it. So,
I had a lot of fun during that rally. It was it was away from all the downtown stuff. We basically had like a barbecue without the barbecue at the park.
Right.
So we enjoyed our time there. I think we'll be doing that a little bit more often.
And I hope so, because if you do, like I said, I've got a bunch of people out here in Coos County who will drive the 5 hours up north just to be part of any event that you guys are doing, because we think you're doing a good job. And before I let you go and get you out of here, go ahead and tell us once again, how can people contact you and what that web address is?
Okay, so for the Proud Boys, it's ProudBoysUSA.com. It'll have all the information, who we are, how to join, and contact information on there. As far as me, I'm usually on Parler, but right now Parler's taking a little break because they have to change their servers out. But you could find me there at Noble, Noble, lead, LEAD. And then we're also using Telegram. My Telegram channel is the same thing, but it's Noble Leader on there, at Noble Leader. And that's my Telegram channel. You can comment, you can like, and you can get in contact with me through there.
All right, thank you very much, and we'll have you. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Also, to support our guys, we don't take donations directly, but we do have an online store where you can buy some pretty cool merchandise. It's 1776.shop.
All right. Thank you very much. And we'll get you back on the show sometime, hopefully before that next big event that you have out here in Oregon, right?
Yes, sir.
You got it, man. Enrique,
Okay.
You take care, okay?
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right, not a problem. All right, folks, that was a very entertaining hour. I mean, you can't get much more entertainment than that. And I'll tell you what, you probably didn't hear a lot of that story that you just heard about what really happened to Enrique and the Proud Boys in Washington, D.C. So now you got it. Now you know, and you can make sure that when they spread lies about this group, that you can challenge those lies with the truth. And with that, folks, I'll see you on the other side.
Looking for a new or used firearm? You should get to know the friendly folks at World Pawn Exchange. Located at 1980 Sherman in downtown North Bend, World Pawn Exchange buys, sells, and trades firearms of all types. And with their extensive, ever-changing inventory, they could have just the right firearm for you. If they don't have that gun that you want in stock, they'll be more than happy to special order it for you. World Pawn Exchange in downtown North Bend, where you'll find more than you can possibly imagine.
Lyle, why are you standing there with your hand over your heart? I'm being patriotical. What? Well, Bayshore Auto has Old Glory everywhere, even on their business cards. And you see, Milo, being a proud American's what we do at Bayshore Auto. Lyle, I bet you don't even know the last 4 words to the national anthem. I do so. What are they then? Gentlemen, start your engines. Oh, Lyle. Bayshore Auto on Highway 101 at 1887 North Bayshore Drive. They're the patrioticalest people I know. Lyle, that ain't no word. No, but it's a way of life.
The clear leader, Herbal Choices. Join the Herbal Choices happy family for best selection. 100 strains, always fresh. Unlike stores that always have the same old products, there's always something new at Herbal Choices. 100 strains and growing. And check Jim Belushi's new harvest. Just in again and better than ever at Herbal Choices. Coos Bay, Charleston, and Bandon. And online at theherbalchoices.com.
Hey, Jim Belushi here. Herbal Choices on the southern Oregon coast is where you can find my new harvest, Belushi's Private Vault.